Welcome back to CN2 News. Well, in a big way, an exciting day. Things have moved forward. Of course, here with Mayor John Gettys. Thanks for taking the time.
Sure, absolutely.
We're talking about that Panthers property. This has been such a process, not just settlements reached, but approved by a judge up in Delaware. Can you bring people up to speed and let us know where we are now?
Sure. Well, we call it the Hutchison property, and I think that's how we'll refer to the property from now on. We reached an agreement with the Tepper organizations back on November 11th as to a settlement between the city and the Panther-related entities, and the judge approved it today. And the judge signed an order that basically says our settlement, the county settlement, everyone else's, some of the contractors, subcontractors are all approved by the court. And that's a good day. That's not the end of the game, so to speak. There's still work to be done, and happy to sort of talk through that. But we've got the court's seal of approval, so to speak, so we can take a deep breath now.
So a piece of it's behind.
Yes.
Looking even ahead at next week, where does the property stand? Clarify who owns it and maybe what you can share about the future of the property.
Sure. Well, after the order's signed today, there's a 15-day appeal process. So, where somebody could step forward and appeal. I don't know who that really could be. I don't know who would have standing to do that. And so that's really one thing we have to wait on, and we have to be a bit guarded until that period's over. But if not today, no later than Monday, the 240-acre Hutchison tract of property will be owned by the taxpayers of the city of Rock Hill.
Okay, and what would you ideally like to see become of that property?
That's a great question. I look forward to everybody in the community weighing in on that. But the city council did promise everybody last spring that nothing would be built on that property that we weren't proud of and happy for. And that's when someone else owned it. Now that we'll own it, it'll be even better. So we're excited to see. We'll start that process probably after the end of January with the initial conversations and thinking through those things. That's when the last deadline date will be. So the 1st of February, if not sooner, no later than the 1st of February, it'll all be behind us and we'll be moving forward.
The steel structure that people are seeing from the interstate, that's going to go away.
It'll come down.
Safe to say that piece comes down, and then the future will be figured out.
That's correct.
With some input. I know you still can't get into too much of the nitty-gritty, but talk about the frustration a year ago on high, breaking ground, celebratory. This has been a year.
2022 has been a year. Just about a year ago this week, we signed all the documents. We're ready to go to the bond market in January. We got a call saying, hey, we think we're going in a different direction. So I'll tell you, Larbury, the thing I'm proudest of over the last year is the way our city council and city management handled this. As you are well aware, there was a lot of public blowback about the city not being able to do certain things, which are not true. And we'll lay all that out when all these deadlines are over. And our city council held tight. We did the work of the people. You didn't see us in the press throwing bombs out against each other or doing certain things. We just kept our head down and held true to the contract. And I would hope that the people of Rock Hill took a lot of comfort now in seeing the end game where we come out with the only asset. And that's the thing. When all is said and done, all the parties will be worse off because of the cost of bankruptcy and things like that. But the city of Rock Hill is the only party to all of this that's going to come out of this with an asset that appreciates in value, and that is the Hutchison property. No one else is going to be that strong.
Outside looking in, seemed possibly the word contentious might be there with the county. Talk about that relationship.
Well, the county's still suing the city. This doesn't take that off the table. And the county's going to have to decide whether they want to continue to sue the city or try the case. We won't engage. That'll be their choice to figure out.
And other back end things happening. There's a criminal investigation that also is completely unrelated to this settlement.
So I don't know anything about that. That is not in the city's purview. We've got enough to work on and think about, so I didn't get engaged in that at all. Didn't impact the people of Rock Hill.
And I think this falls into the can't get into, but when we chat about that bond, that really hovering issue that was at least part of the blame game, talk about the city's stance on that, and if anything can be kind of revealed more at this point now that some signatures have been put on paperwork.
Sure. Well, the contention or the dispute always was why bonds were not issued. And there was an adversary proceeding that we filed, and our belief in that. We never got a legal response to that, and the case settled.
So moving forward, I know you're happy about that. Share with folks in the future, are there any lessons learned, or is this just kind of part of doing business and things shake out funny sometimes?
You know, that's a great question. I'm not sure we'll see an opportunity like what we were presented with several years ago arrive like this. It's a once in a blue moon kind of thing, I guess is the best way to say it. Economic development's hard. I mean, you take people at what they say, you work and you pin things down, but it's the reason we have contracts. It's the reason why the city council, city management, and I have been so confident throughout is we had a written agreement and we held everybody to it. And that is the case. That's what you have to do. What we'll see on this site over time, it'll be wonderful. It'll create a lot more tax revenue than we would have seen under the previous agreement. It will lose its Disney World feel to it, and I'm sad about that. I'm not happy about what we were put through because of decisions others made, but when it's all said and done, the city of Rock Hill is going to be in a pretty good spot.
And that sounds like a good way to wrap things up, but just in case there's anything else you want to add on this topic, or really anything else as we kind of head into the holidays.
No, just happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody. It's been a tough year, but a good year. We've come through this in good shape.
All right, Mayor John Gettys, thank you,
Thank
as
you.
always, for taking the time, and we'll have much more after this.
Carolina Connection is brought to you by Wild Birds Unlimited. For more information, visit rockhill.wbu.com or indianland.wbu.com. Wild Birds Unlimited. We bring people and nature together.